Hello, my friends, and happy Thursday evening, also known as Donut Exploration Day. So at least henceforth, it will be known as Donut Exploration Day. So as you probably have guessed it, we are going to be doing some fun, creative, outside-the-box designing with donuts. Donuts are a wonderful element in jewelry design. There's so much you can do with them. So that is our topic for today. And I have lots of samples for you to look at actually. I have lots of donut pieces to show you. And a lot of them actually have nothing whatsoever to do with what we're doing today. But, well, they're made with donuts, so I think it's kind of fun to see maybe just a few different things as inspiration. And then you might think, oh my gosh, I do remember seeing that video that Irina did, like, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago. And maybe that's what I'm going to do. But of course, I am hoping to inspire you a little bit, or hopefully a lot, with today's technique. But in the meantime, I'm just showing you, here's a little piece of leather and using a chain link as a crimp. You guys have seen me do that like a schmillion times. So this is just a very, very simple way to incorporate a donut into your work. And of course, I do a lot of wire work. And this is one of my favorite things to do with a donut. I actually featured something like this in one of my books a while back.
Pammy J says, good evening, Irina, Tony, Lauren, and all.
Hi, Pammy J.
Jane says, yay, donuts. Hi, everyone.
Hey, yes. Hi, Jane. I'm so glad you're excited about donuts.
Lynn O says, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Lynn.
Lois B says, evening.
Hi, Lois B.
And Teresa says, hi, so pretty to see.
Oh, thank you so much. And hi, Teresa.
Luda says, hello, everyone. How did you know I was craving sweets?
Hey, Luda, you and Tony, oh my gosh. When you say donut, Tony gets really excited, but it's not that kind of a donut today, you guys. So these are some of the wirework donuts. And, but wait, you guys, there's more.
Patty G says, hi, Irina and Tony.
Hi, Patty.
Julie says, hi, everyone.
Hey, Julie.
Lynn C says, hi, Irina, Tony, Lauren, and everyone.
Hi, Lynn.
Yolanda says, good evening, all. Lost it. Just what I need to see.
Oh, yay. Thank you, Yolanda. And good evening.
Sandy A says, good evening to everyone.
Hello, Sandy.
Sherry Ann says, good evening, all.
Hi, Sherry Ann.
Lori says, good evening, Irina and Tony.
Hey, Lori. Is this the Lori who stopped today? Different Lori. We like all the Loris.
That's right. Michelle says, hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, Michelle.
Jane says, fun to be here.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad you're joining me today, Jane. All right, guys. So I'm showing you actually a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So this is actually a project from my most recent book to come out. Some of you may have it. I will probably come back to talking about my book because actually I have heard from some of you asking me about the new book. So I do have some news on the new book, but we'll save that for a little bit later. In the meantime, we are exploring a really fun new technique using SilverSilk and pinch bales, which are actually leather pinch bales. But, you know, it's always good to think outside the box, and we don't always use components the way the manufacturer intended. Sometimes it's fun to find your own uses.
Ruth says, hello, all. This looks like it's going to be a fun one.
Yay! Thank you, Ruth.
Janice says, these donuts are beautiful.
Thank you so much, Janice.
Lori says, Lori from Illinois with a smile.
Hey, Lori from Illinois. Oh, yes, yes.
And Lindsay says, all these stone donuts are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much, Lynn. Yes, donuts are super fun. And these donuts, you guys, I know I am repeating myself. I've said this before. I will say this again. These are the awesome donuts. No calories. You can have as many as you want.
And no cavities.
And no cavities. I can't even believe Tony said that. All right, guys. So this is a super quick, super easy and satisfying technique. This is like if you need to make some really fun, quick handmade gifts, this is a technique you can use. You can obviously make earrings, you can make pendants. I'm sure at some point we will explore making bracelets or possibly necklaces, although a necklace can be made with one of these pendants.
Lindsay says, I have never used SilverSilk.
Oh, you haven't? Well, let me tell you about SilverSilk.
And Lucy says, oh, hi, Leon. Maybe it's a friend of hers. Sorry.
Oh, okay then. So we have SilverSilk, which I'm, of course, going to tell you about.
Vicky says, can we see the bracelet you're wearing?
Absolutely. So the bracelet is actually a bit of a preview for my next book coming out. I have a couple more preview pieces. And I'll tell you, okay, so I'll tell you a story right now, I guess.
Connie says, hello, all love the donuts.
Thank you so much, Connie.
And Lois says, was thinking the same thing about the donuts. Would love to know where you get them.
Well, I am so glad you asked. Right here at Eclectica, you can get them either in our brick and mortar store in Wisconsin, or you can get them in our Etsy shop. And of course, the information for the Etsy shop is going to be in the comments. Very, very easy to find.
Joan says, love SilverSilk.
Thank you so much, Joan. I'm glad you do.
And Michelle says, I've never used SilverSilk either.
So I will tell you, okay, what do you guys want to hear about first? SilverSilk or my next book coming out? You pick. I'm good with either.
Lucy says, hi, Irina, beautiful bracelet. And
Thank you so much, Lucy.
Lois says, thank you. And Vicky says, gorgeous, I love SilverSilk.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad you guys do.
Yolanda says, good idea using SilverSilk, and I have some beautiful bracelets.
Oh, perfect. So I'm glad some of you clearly are aware of SilverSilk, and some of you, this is going to be something new and exciting too. And of course, whether you know it or not, it is exciting.
Mary Elizabeth says, hello, Tony, Irina, and Lauren. I'm looking forward to surprises, the book.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
And Helena says the book.
Oh, thank you so much, ladies. But I promise I will get to the SilverSilk as well. So here's my story about the new book. So I have a book that is coming out sometime this month, and I have been aware that it's scheduled to come out sometime this month. However, I know that some of you got an email from Kalmbach saying that the book is available. Well, actually, some of you emailed me saying, hey, is the book actually available? And I didn't know a whole lot about it, so I called my contact at the book publishers, and as it turned out, that email actually was not supposed to go out today. That was a bit of a mistake. So, that is the bad news. However, the good news is that we're probably going to get it sometime next week. So, if you can just hang in there and wait, it'll be out very, very soon. In the meantime, I have my bracelet on. I'm so excited about the book. I have a couple more pieces to show you from the book, and then I have another surprise, but I'll get to that later.
Pammy W says, good evening, Irina, Tony, and Lauren. Love those donuts. Yum. Just bought some square Jasper donuts. So unique.
Oh, yay. Thank you so much, Pam. All right, guys. And yes, we did list a lot of new donuts in the Etsy shop, so please check them out. They're absolutely gorgeous.
Joan wants to hear more about your new book.
Oh, thank you so much, Joan.
And Lynn O says book.
All right. So I'll tell, you know what? Okay, so then I'll do the book story right now. Well, that was essentially the book story, but I will tell you a little bit more about the book. So the name of the new book is Stone and Wire Jewelry, and it's right here.
it's right here. It's actually not as big as this poster. It's just a little bit smaller. But, you know, it is on wire, as you probably would have guessed from the name. And it's about stone as well. So I am a wire girl. I'm a big metals person, and so I love wire wrapping, and these are some of the projects from the new book. So I can already tell you guys that this video is going to be maybe just a little bit ADD. But you know what? We all embrace it, and we all just kind of go with the flow.
Heidi says, oh, those are so pretty. Well done.
Oh, thank you so much, Heidi.
Patty T says, hi, everyone.
Hi, Patty.
Vicky says, I wove some gorgeous AB-coated rough crystals into a ladder of SilverSilk.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Jane says it won't fit in my car.
Oh, well, you know what, Jane? What if we open the trunk?
Or the roof.
Or the roof? You know, there are always bungee cords.
That's right. Lindsay says, great book cover.
Oh, thank you so much, Lynn. I'm so happy with the book cover. I want you guys to know I have nothing to do with the book cover, but they have some very talented people who do the layout, and they did such a beautiful job. I'm happy. Okay, guys, so what else can I tell you about the new book? There are a lot of new projects. If you have one of my older books, especially the most recent one, you will see some similarities, not so much within, between the projects, but more so, it's almost like the next chapter of the projects in the last book. So I don't know what else to tell you about it, but I certainly hope that you enjoy it. And actually, a little later, I'm going to talk about the kits for my book. So some of you I know have purchased my kits, and I hope you love them, but I will save that for a little bit later. So to answer your question about SilverSilk, I would love to tell you about this product because I think it's super, super fun to work with. So SilverSilk is a woven chain of sorts. So it's like if a ribbon and chain had a baby, and this baby were absolutely beautiful, and as babies usually are.
Lois says she found out about SilverSilk from Nile.
Oh, fantastic. Yes. In fact, Nile and I have been in touch just recently, and hopefully we'll be more in touch. And so yes, he's the wonderful owner of SilverSilk. He's kind of a new owner of newish, I should say, a couple of years, I think, owner of SilverSilk, and he is, what can I say? He's very sweet.
Katie says, I almost stopped in yesterday after donating blood to see if your book was in stock yet.
Oh, well, you are so wonderful for donating blood. I always admire that about you, and I know you do it on a regular basis. But no, sorry, not yet. We thought, well, if they're sending out an email, maybe today, but no, sometime next week we're hoping.
Helena says, would we be able to buy the new book in your store?
Absolutely, Helena. Yes, please come on down. You can buy it here in the store. In fact, my books are 25% off every day. And please come on in. And if you can't come in, of course, we will ship it to you.
Patty T says, where can we get your previous books?
Oh, thank you for asking, Patty. So my books are available through our website. Unfortunately, we can't sell books on Etsy. It's just not done. You're not allowed to sell books on Etsy. But we have my books in the Etsy shop. I do lots of books, actually. Most of my books are on wire wrapping, also metal clay, and general design. So I'm pretty eclectic as far as materials I work with, but there are a couple of different areas of focus I have.
So we can't sell books. The books have to be 20 years or older. So you can get books on Etsy, just not yours because they're new.
Right. So you can't get current books on Etsy. You can get vintage books or antique books on Etsy. So anyway, what we are looking at is SilverSilk. And I didn't grab all of the SilverSilk that we have in the store because I wanted to focus on the flat SilverSilk. I believe this is the 7-wire knit. Because there are different styles. There are styles that are round, there are styles that are flat, there are styles that are a little bit more flat and a little more diminutive than this. So because in our project I'm really focusing on this style, that is all I have on my table. But maybe in the next few weeks we'll, if you guys decide that this is super fun, maybe we will just explore other types of SilverSilk.
Lori says, I need to get SilverSilk.
Yay, of course, who doesn't?
And Teresa says, SilverSilk looks great.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys like it.
And Lois says, where are your donuts listed on your website? They're actually on Etsy, and there will be a link in the comments for that.
Yes, so most of essentially everything that I feature in the videos, with one exception, which is my books, you will find in our Etsy shop. So that is the Eclectica Etsy shop.
In the featured on Facebook Live section.
Thank you, Tony. You guys heard it, featured on Facebook Live section.
Lori says, I want your bracelet. Love, beautiful.
Well, you know what? I am so glad you love it. And you can have it once you make it. So you buy the book and you make the bracelet. It was so fun to design this. I love paisleys.
Vicky is wondering, have you ever worked with SilverSilk capture chain?
I have indeed. I probably have at least one video on capture chain, but I think I'm going to do more in the next few weeks because that is what happens to me. I get really excited about a certain type of material and then I start exploring it and I do that for maybe a few weeks and then I move on to something else. But yes, you will absolutely find the capture chain in our Etsy shop.
Linda M says, hi, I'm catching you live.
Oh, yay, Linda. I'm so glad.
And Rita says, hi, everyone.
Hi, Rita.
Lois says thank you because she couldn't find them under Beads or Donuts. That's because they're on the in the Etsy shop.
Yay, I'm so glad you found it.
Rita says beautiful bracelet.
Oh, thank you so much. So yes, so this is going to be in the new book, which allegedly we will have next week.
Suzanne says hi, everyone.
Hi, Suzanne.
And Sally says, I'm new to the world of SilverSilk. Any recommendation on what I should get first?
Well, Sally, I think that's a wonderful question. I think you should get what you like. So today, since I'm going to be demoing the flat 7-knit SilverSilk, 7-wire, I don't know if I'm calling it the correct name, but this is the widest one. And so I feel like if you like the project, then get what you like. So let's wait until you watch the project, and if it makes you excited and happy, this is the Tony just gave me the measurement. So this is a 4.8 millimeter SilverSilk, and you will find that in our Etsy shop. So as I was saying, if you feel that you're bonding with the project, I would just get that. I would not worry about what is easier to work with, what is not, because it is all very easy to work with. So let me start talking about working with SilverSilk. So the one, I don't even want to call it a challenge, but well, I guess just for the sake of discussion, let's just call it a challenge. So the one challenge with working with SilverSilk is when you cut it, you end up with little sharp wire ends. And the only way to actually hide that and make everything looks finished is by covering it with some type of a fun, and I just grabbed the first thing that I grabbed. It doesn't necessarily fit this particular piece, but or match it. But so the best way to deal with those little sharp ends is to simply cover it up.
Suzanne says she likes capture chain the best.
Oh, well, that's nice to know. I have worked with essentially all types. You know, the widest of the flat SilverSilk, capture chain, the narrower SilverSilk. There's one that's really narrow, which is 3-wire. There's one that's a little bit wider, which is 4. So I have tried all of them, and I have to say they're all very easy to work with. And in terms of results, I really do like them all. I think it kind of depends on exactly what it is that you guys are looking for.
Catherine says, hi, everyone.
Hi, Catherine. Thanks for joining us. All right, so I think the easiest way to explain just how easy it is to start our project. What do you think? Should we just get going? All right, so I'm going to move all of my donuts right here, and I'm just going to leave the ones that have to do with our project on my workspace here. So this one, even though it kind of looks like it may have something to do with the project, but actually it's just wire work. And I just wanted to show it. All right, so now we are down to all SilverSilk pieces. So in this case, SilverSilk is really a wonderful element of not just constructing the piece, but also it's a wonderful way to add texture and interest to our design. So I'm just looking for, okay, I think I'll start with this donut. So this is fuchsite, and it's a fun green. I think it'll contrast beautifully against the copper. So look how fun that is. So not only is it a really practical way to attach a bail to a donut like this, but this is also so very pretty. If you think about it, with this type of construction, it's very, very simple. There are really only 3 elements, well, maybe 4. One is the actual donut. The second element is the SilverSilk, which we can use in a complementary color or maybe more of a contrasting color. In this case, of course, it's very contrasting, which I really love, that copper color against the green of the donut. And then the third element is going to be the beads that I put on the SilverSilk. So it's layering. And layering is very popular right now, and you can do so much with this, and in a relatively short time as well. So as I was saying, this is a really great way to create a handmade gift. So I'm just going to hold my 2 sides of SilverSilk like this. I don't really do a whole lot of measuring. I'm just going to wrap it again around the donut and trim maybe about half an inch above the donut, so that I have like almost like a little tab right there on both sides. So it extends half an inch on each side. If you're not sure, you can make it a little bit more than half an inch.
Vicky says the newest SilverSilk is the hollow weave tube that allows you to fill or thread your own 4mm beads. You'll love it.
You know what? I actually have a project in mind with hollow weave tube. And now that you mentioned it, I was thinking about doing it next week, and I think I'm just going to commit to that. And do you guys want to see a project next week with hollow weave tube? So let me know in the comments, because I have to say it could be a little bit exciting. Well, a lot exciting. Okay, guys. So I'm just grabbing some seed beads, and These have been my go-to seed beads for a while. You may have seen my story bracelets, so I have been using these Charlottes. These are 11-0 Charlottes, which I am really liking these days. So I'm going to use that as an embellishment. I've used them both on that soft gold as well as the copper, and I have really liked both of them very much. So I'm just going to stick to what's working for me. And now I am cutting a little length of wire. This is 28 gauge artistic wire that I'm working with, 28 gauge, and this is antique brass.
Janice says, I would love to see you work with hollow weave tube.
Yay!
Sandy A says yes for hollow weave.
Okay.
Pammy J says yes for SilverSilk hollow.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I think we have a plan for next week.
Patty T says yes. Mary Elizabeth says yes. Definitely, I'm new to SilverSilk. Jane says yes. And Lindsay says yes.
Oh, I love that you're excited about it. You know,
Cheers.
I try to ask you about things you want to see because, you know, I want you to be interested in whatever it is. And I have to say, I really like working with this material. So I'm excited that you guys are excited. Okay, guys, so this is what I'm doing. This wire is so small, I'm always concerned whether the camera picks it up well enough. All right, so can you see what I just did? I essentially, right in the center, you see right where I have the fold from the donut, it's a soft fold, so don't make a hard fold. You want to just kind of gently wrap it around the donut. And do you see what I did? I used the two ends of the wire to go through the center. So it's not quite in the center, so that, so it's like, if I go through, you know, the simplest things are the hardest to explain. That is like the rule in when you're trying to explain something very, very simple. So this is what I did. I bent the wire in the center in kind of a U-turn. Can you guys see that? All right, so then the U-turn serves as like a little stopping point. And you can see both ends of my wire are coming out of the mesh. And so now I am going to start stringing. In fact, you know what I'll do? I will make one of the ends just a little shorter because it makes it just a little easier to go through the bead with both ends. So I have used this technique before many times. You may have seen this in some of my videos. So when you use check beads, it gives you a little bit of an advantage. You can just string through a whole bunch of beads just like that, just by holding them nice and straight and transferring them from that temporary string. You know how they come on a hank, and so you just transfer them onto your wire, and it saves you a little bit of time.
Vicky says, I'm excited to see how you use natural beads in hollow weave. You're always so very excitingly creative.
Oh, thank you so much, Vicky. I have something really fun in mind, I have to say, but we'll see how that works out because I haven't made it just yet. All right, so I am going to, again, hold both ends together just like that. And I'll see if I have enough beads. Maybe I have too many beads. So this happens to be a pretty small donut. So I really don't need that many beads. I'm just going to drop like maybe 3 beads. So you want to stop just short of when you get to the right to the top of the donut, right? So you stop just short. I guess what I mean by that is maybe 2 to 3 millimeters short. So now I am going to put both ends of my wire through the SilverSilk. And this time, I'm really aiming for the center. And I'm really trying to put both ends through the same opening. So this is like, you know, like if you are maybe having a dress made, or maybe some of you are making a dress and you are having multiple fittings. So this is our next fitting. We're going to try it on a donut, and this seems to fit. If it were a little too short, your beads would have buckled on the wire. You could just take it out, put it through the next loop. Or so what I'm saying is you can still take the wire out. Nothing is really in stone, in stone. But you know, it can definitely be adjusted. It's very, very easy to make adjustments at this point.
Pammy J says, I love how you embellished the SilverSilk, so creative.
Oh, thank you so much. So, you know, now that I think back, I think I did a SilverSilk project with Roman glass. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm imagining it. But you know, I have a lot of videos out there. Some of the videos are on my Facebook page. Some of the videos are on the Eclectica Facebook page. But there are quite a few of them. You know what I just did? I just realized that I didn't go through both of the sides. So we'll fix that right now. So I'm just going to go through the other side. I thought I went through both sides of the SilverSilk.
Yolanda says, oh, can't wait to try this.
Oh, yay! I really hope you do, because this is so very easy and yet so very satisfying. The result is so well worth it. And again, this makes such fun little quick gifts. So I just went through both sides of the wire, and now I am just going to start wrapping around both sides. So what's going to happen is it's going to collapse a little bit, and I'm going to, in fact, you know what I'll do? I'm going to help it along a little bit. I'm just going to collapse it a little with my chain nose pliers, just like this.
Katie says you did a beautiful project with Roman glass and SilverSilk.
Oh, thank you so much, Katie. I thought I did one, but you know, after a while, you start doubting yourself. It's like, did I actually do it? Did I just want to do it? I wish I would have grabbed it, but you know what? You guys can find it. We have a large video archive, and as I mentioned, we have videos both on my page and the Eclectica page. So I'm sure if you look, you will find it. And maybe if Lauren finds it first, I'm sure she will have a link. I guess I'm not really promising because there's so many. All right, guys. So you see how I just wrapped around both sides. And now it's time to do something with those little ants. So the ants, we can maybe wrap through one of the loops. It doesn't even have to be through both sides. It's just you wrap each end through at least one loop. And then we are going to wrap the very end and trim it.
Suzanne says, very pretty.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. It'll look way better with a bail, I promise.
Sandra says, hi, everyone. Love these. They're beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. Hi, Sandra.
And Janice is wondering what size Charlottes you're using now.
So I'm using 11/0 Charlottes. And this is actually one of the same Charlottes I used for all those story bracelets I made last month. I made like maybe 4 different types of story bracelets, and I used 11/0s and I think 13/0s and some 8/0s, but 11/0s are kind of my go-to. And if you're familiar with Charlotte's, they're a seed bead with those little facets. So it's like a faceted seed bead, and it just has that little extra sparkle, but it also has a little bit of a Baroque shape. And I like that organic shape. All right, guys. So now I trimmed my wire ends, and I'm just going to flatten them against the silver silk. So you see how I just flattened them so they're not sticking out. I know it's very, very hard to see them.
Lori says, I've had some donuts for years and I never used. I guess now I know what I'm doing with them.
Absolutely, Lori. This is so simple, and I think the result is well worth it. So, all right. So now we are going to decide exactly what to use for our pinch end. So I'm going to show you these little pinch ends, and I have them in different styles, but I also have them in different sizes. So some of you may have used pinch ends before for leather. I know I have done like a schmillion projects with leather where I've used. In fact, I'm making one tomorrow. Yay! Remember, tomorrow we're finishing those bracelets that we made with vintage stampings. So tomorrow we will also be using these pinch ends probably, but in a different size. So there are 3 different sizes of these pinch ends, and generally the smallest one, which is the 2 millimeter, I reserve for leather, but the 3 and the 4 millimeter are great for this technique.
Suzanne is wondering what gauge wire you're using.
Thank you for asking, Suzanne. I am using 28 gauge artistic wire in bronze, which you will also find in the Etsy shop.
And our friend Neela says, hi friends, I just made it on to see the magic.
Oh, hey, Neely. I am so happy you're joining me. Yay. I love working with this stuff. I can't even tell you how much I enjoy it. So I hope you like what I make. All right, so
Vicky is wondering what comes after a schmillion.
What comes up? Oh, okay, like a gashmillion.
That would be the plural, schmillions.
Yeah, it's, one of my words. It works. So, okay, now back to the project. So what I'm showing you is, see how these little tulips, they come in a couple of different sizes. And the size that these two are the same. So these two are 3 millimeter tulips. This one is a 4 millimeter tulip. We're going to save the 4 millimeter tulip for something else. And this is the 4 millimeter Greek key. Again, we could really make either one work, but I feel like for this piece, I'm going to enjoy this better with a 3 millimeter finding. So we have a 3 millimeter finding in a tulip, and we have a 3 millimeter finding in a Greek key.
Suzanne says, I love those pinch ends.
Oh, me too. Thank you so much, Suzanne. I'm so glad you do.
Nile says, your designing is stellar.
Oh, you're so awesome. Thank you so much, Nile. All right, guys. So which one do you like for my fuchsite? I'm debating. Do you like the tulip or the Greek key? I think either one would work out so nicely, but I don't know. I think I might be leaning towards the Greek key, but I could go with the tulip. So maybe it's a vote. If you get your votes in, I'm kind of leaning towards the tulip. I think the tulip might be super fun with this. Okay, so did you see I just trimmed the SilverSilk? So this was just a little extra. And I left just a little bit on top because A, I don't want to cut through my 28 gauge wire. And B, it's, when you cut SilverSilk, it's kind of like, sometimes you get little pieces of wire falling off because it's a multiple wire knit. So it's always good to be on the safe side and just leave a little bit on top. No worries, we have lots of room in these pinch findings.
So the ballots are in. The decision is Greek key.
Greek key, all right, you guys. And you know what? Wow, we count our ballots so quickly. We're just,
We're that fast.
We're that fast. We're impressive that way. All right, I'm just kidding. All right, so I have my chain nose pliers, and what I like to do is open up the finding just a tiny bit.
Joan says, I used this type of pinch end for the first time yesterday, so this is really exciting for me.
Oh, yay! Thank you, Joan. I really hope you liked using it. It's very, very simple. With some projects, I use a little bit of glue, but with this type of a project, because there are all those lovely openings in SilverSilk, it's just, you don't even need glue. I mean, if you want to use a little glue, I'm not going to stop you, but what I'm saying is that it's not really necessary. All right, so.
Steph says, love this.
Thank you so much, Steph. All right, guys.
Another vote for the Greek key.
All right, so you like the Greek key. Maybe we'll use a tulip on the next one. Okay, guys, so now the moment of truth. Now we're just going to make everything stay. And so as I said, this finding is so nice and grippy. It has, did you see the little prongs inside? I'll just show it to you again. So it has like these little teeth inside, and look, I'm just going to kind of like yank on it a little bit. You can see that I'm actually pulling and nothing is happening because it's just that easy and it's that permanent. So there we go. So now what do we do with this at this point? Well, anything we want. We can just put a jump ring on it. Oh, by the way, so if I intended for this loop to be the bail, which would have been completely valid. In fact, I kind of wish I would have done that just to show you something a little different. I could have oriented, here, let me grab another one. So I could have oriented my finding this way because it's the same kind of little prong inside. It's like a little tooth. So it will work the same way whether you orient the loop this way or this way. So you have so many more design opportunities and design choices. All right, so now that I oriented the loop this way, I am just going to use a little jump ring.
Lindsay says, I have all those pinch ends in different sizes on hand because I use them so much.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad, Lynn. They're just wonderful, aren't they?
Sherry Ann says, very pretty.
Thank you so much, Sherry Ann.
Beverly is wondering if the Greek key finding can be used to secure leather cord.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. That is what I mostly use it on.
Jane says, wow, love it.
Yay, thank you so much, Jane.
Suzanne says, I've used pinch ends, but I haven't seen such pretty ones.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you like our pinch hands. So the pinch hands, as I said, they come in 2, 3, and 4 millimeters. So you guys saw I just attached a clasp. In fact, this is a new clasp that we just listed in the Etsy shop, and I want to show you. It's kind of snazzy. So this is what makes it pretty snazzy. The loop is hidden. So can you see the loop is kind of hidden behind this beautifully textured tab? And so you don't even see that extra jump ring, which I just think it makes for a nice clean look. And sometimes I like to see the jump rings. It's not like they're offensive in any way, but this is just a different look. And so what I like about this, it's kind of organic. It's just sort of seems to go with everything. So yes, so back to the sizes though, because I want you to get the size that you're actually looking for. So for working with, say, 1 or 2 strands of leather, I usually go with 2 millimeters. Just now I used 3 millimeters, and I could easily have used the tulip the same exact way. In fact, this is what the tulip looks like. So these are both 3 millimeters. And then the next technique, or the next variation of the same technique that I'm about to show you, is going to be 4 millimeter, or maybe it'll be 5 millimeter. I guess it all depends on what we decide to do.
Vicky says, are those clasps made by TierraCast?
They are not. Those clasps are actually imported. They're made somewhere else, and we bring them in. I don't think that they're widely available, in fact, at all.
Pam EW says, I'm loving the bail design.
Yay, thank you so much.
Suzanne says, that's awesome, so pretty.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're enjoying these.
Lori says, ooh, love the clasp/bail you're using. And Sue says, beautiful.
Thank you. Yay. I'm glad you guys are liking these.
Luda says you should start your own dictionary.
Luda, funny you should ask. Maybe that'll be my next book. What do you think? We'll throw in a little, Russian, right? We'll invent some words. We'll brainstorm later.
Lindsay says, very interesting bail. I like it.
Thank you so much.
Julie says, wonderful new ideas for donuts.
Yay, I'm so glad you guys are liking these.
Nile says, the bail is really exquisite. I gotta get some of those decorative pinch ends.
Awesome. We'll talk, Nile.
Teresa says, I didn't realize the donuts were so gorgeous.
Oh, thank you so much, Teresa. Okay, guys, starting on the next one. So I'm going to give you a slightly different idea. This is a variation. It's not an entirely different technique. This is a variation on the technique that you just saw. So let me give you just a little preview. So what I'm about to do is actually going to be very, very similar to this. So this lovely muscovite donut. Actually, this is not. What I'm working with is muscovite. This is lepidolite. And both muscovite and lepidolite are mica, which means they're going to have those kind of little sparkly bits of fun. I don't know how else to describe it. If you know what mica is, it's like it's a layered mineral. So what you see are parts of layers, and the way that our eye perceives it is just kind of like confetti. Or like sparkly confetti. So what I'm going to do is, instead of one strand of SilverSilk across the donut, I'm actually going to use 2, so double the fun, right? And this is a larger donut, so something like this I would probably use on a smaller donut or larger donut. Definitely for earrings, I would, and we do have other little teeny tiny donuts like shungite. Actually, shungite donuts are super fun and very, very lightweight too. Of course, I love lapis lazuli. I love lapis with either the copper or with the gold, because of course it has those little specks of pyrite.
Vicky says, like glitter.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I couldn't think of the word glitter.
Lois says, yay, something else to try as I'm a new beader.
Oh, yay, Lois. You know what? If you are a new beader / jewelry designer, you might want to find some of my basics too. I don't know how new you are, but if you're super, super new, I have some videos on the very basics, like how to make a good loop, how to open and close a jump ring. And so you might want to find those. And it's kind of like just starting out with some really good building blocks of jewelry construction. And you might find it helpful.
Kathy says, ooh, lost it. Very nice design.
Thank you so much, Kathy. So, okay, you guys, just as before, I am going through those and loops just one time, just to kind of anchor my 28 gauge wire. And So we'll just go through a couple of the loops on the edges.
Lois says only a couple of months or so.
Oh,
And thank you, we'll look into
fantastic.
that.
Oh, wonderful. I hope you find it helpful, Lois. It's kind of like this. You could certainly jump into a project like this. It's a very beginner-friendly project. So it's definitely something you could do. However, for future projects, it's just really good to have some building blocks under your belt. It's kind of like, you know, if you're going to read a book, it's good to know the whole alphabet. You know, it's like you could try if you only know half of the alphabet, but it's probably not going to be as fun.
Vicky says, Irina's books learn you real good.
They sure do. I hope. That was my attempt at a southern accent. I'm told it's not very good. Depending on who I'm told by, sometimes it's really bad. You know, kids are critical.
I do declare.
Okay, guys, so we are, and you know, funny, this is how much we have all the time without any moonshine. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. So all I'm doing is I'm just securing my wire, and this time minus the embellishment beads. What I meant is I'm securing my SilverSilk chain without the embellishment beads. And we will add the beads afterwards, because in this case, we're not adding the beads on top of SilverSilk, but rather we are actually going to add the beads in between. So we're making like a SilverSilk sandwich of sorts. And so I'm just doing a little wrapping. And yeah, this is good. So now we will secure our ands again by going through the and loops.
Yolanda says, I like the double SilverSilk.
Oh, thank you, Yolanda. Yeah, I think with a larger donut, it's just a more impactful way to embellish it. All right, so
Vicky says, who needs moonshine when you have moonstone, wire, and donuts?
Exactly. It can be moonstone, it can be, you know, any stone. So I agree, it's like a natural high. I could make a stone joke that involves, you know, stoned, but I just won't. You fill in the blanks, okay? You make your own joke. All right, so now I have trimmed both of these ands. This is what it looks like. And look, we have a perfect little space for a little turquoise. Actually, these are not like turquoise for realsies. These are actually very nice. What is this? Is this magnesite? So this is a very nice imitation of turquoise, which is actually magnesite, which makes it that much more affordable, but it's gorgeous.
Suzanne says, I love your ideas for SilverSilk. Very creative.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. So I just cut myself another little length of wire, and I'm going to do the same thing with our little turquoise guys. And I want to say these are about maybe 3 to 3.5 millimeters or so. And this piece is going to be, Tony's telling me that they're 3 millimeters. So this piece, did I make this one double-sided? I believe I did, yes. So if you wanted to put it on some type of a kind of a flip-flappy piece of jewelry, this is actually double-sided. In fact, if I were really clever, I would have made it reversible. So maybe one type of bead on one side and a different type of bead on the other side. But I just didn't think of that until now. But maybe next time we can make it a little bit reversible.
Gloria says, I'm so loving these. I will definitely have to incorporate this into my designs.
Oh, thank you so much, Gloria. Yay, I'm so glad. All right, so do we have enough? Maybe we would benefit from one more. I say one more would do it. Okay, so one more little bead. And now, I think, no, you know what? Actually, not one more, but maybe two less, maybe one less. Okay, so with this type of design, it's sort of very fluid and very organic, and you just pretty much make it up as you go. There is not a pattern for something like this. You just design as you go and enjoy. All right, so I'm just giving it a little bit of a twist. And now I have those ends sticking out, my wire ends that is, and I'm going to put them to good use. I am going to just use my chain nose pliers to move these a little bit and maybe to kind of just get them a little closer to one another. I think I probably could have left just a little bit more SilverSilk, which would have made it a little easier for me at this point. Not that this is very difficult in any way, but maybe just leave a little more than I did at the top, and you'll have a little more to hold on to. That's really all that it's about. Once we put that bail on, it's just not going to make any difference whatsoever. Okay, so now I am almost ready to use my pinch bail. So I don't really have open loops that I can see. So it'll be very difficult for me to take those ends and go through the loops. So instead, I'm just going to twist the ends together, just so that they don't unravel. And if you have a flat nose handy, it's very easy to use a flat nose to tighten that little twist. So it's just a little twist, just like, like when you go to the store and buy tomatoes and put them in a bag and then use a twist. And so now we're going to trim the wire. And all we have left is to use one of those lovely pinch bails. But because I already have all sorts of fun samples. Oh, I forgot to point out, this is actually not a pinch bail, but a crimp. And it works very much like a leather crimp. If you're familiar with leather crimps, it works just like that. There's a little tab that pushes that in. But I didn't grab that. But it's very, very easy to use. And also, I grabbed one other little pinch bail. So since we have samples with Greek key and with tulips, we're going to use this little pod-looking guy. And so the interesting thing about the pod is that it can open up to about 5 millimeters. Probably you could even go 6 millimeters. So if you decide to go with even more length of the SilverSilk, you could even get away with possibly 3 or 4, depending on how you use them, because that opens up quite wide. But when you close it, it can close around something like this very nicely. So what I'm saying is that it's kind of a multiple size finding. All right, so now I am going to put my little pinch bail right over, and because I opened it up, it seems to fit. And we have this pinch bail in different metals. So make sure that the prongs are sitting well below that wire wrap. So I'm just trying to hold on to everything as I use my flat nose pliers to close the pod. I call it a pod. I don't think we call it a pod on the in the Etsy shop, but to me it's kind of a pod shape. And since, you know, I like pods, I love pods, I actually make lots of pods out of metal clay. I'm a pod person, you could say. You know, some people are flower people. Well, I'm a flower person too. All right, so there we go. So very, very easy technique. You guys can do it so easily, even if you have never made jewelry before. This is a great project to try. I think it's very satisfying to somebody who's just starting out, because it's like, you know, you acquire some very, very basic skills and you can make something that doesn't look so basic. So this is what you can make. I'm sure you can make so much more, because you can definitely incorporate this technique into bracelets. I'm really thinking I might just do a bracelet sometime in the next couple of weeks. But I think we decided that next week we're doing something with that hollow chain, right? So, and here are the earrings. But before I finish, I actually have a little announcement of sorts. So because all that went down this morning, where we got that email from Kalmbach, and actually a lot of people got that same email, because I have heard from some of you saying, hey, where is the new book? So I was thinking, you know what? I don't have a kit for the new book just yet, but I have the kit for my previous book, and a lot of the stones from my last book are similar in shape to what I'm using in this book. In some cases it's a different application, in some cases it's just a totally different project. So as I was saying, you know, I was going to just talk about my next book, my last book, all the books. So some of you may be familiar with my book kit, which is, this is really directly related to not only the projects, but also the colors in my last book. And so this has all sorts of wire in the kit and all sorts of stones and beads, as you can see. And that is the original one. And the more recent version of that is, what are we calling this? Amethyst denim? So it's I believe we call it amethyst denim. So it's primarily amethyst with a little denim thrown in. And I believe there's also one in carnelian. So you may have tried these, and maybe you want to try it in a different color. As I mentioned, there is all sorts of wire to go with the book in these projects, and this happens to be a very, very good value. So it's over $100 worth of beads, wire, cabochons, everything, and we bundled it all up. You will find it in the Etsy shop for $59. So this is what I'm doing, because this is in anticipation of my next book. When you buy this kit, I'm giving you a little gift. So, and this is not like forever. This is only for the next week until the next book comes out. Because then I'll probably get going on the next kit, and somehow it'll be different from this one. Anyway, so This is an apatite slab. And the reason I picked the trees to show you in previewing the next book, I would love to see a tree on this apatite slab. In fact, one of these days, when I have, in my spare time, my copious spare time, I will probably wrap this and put a tree on it. So I'm hoping that you get a little bit excited about this apatite. Of course, each one of the stones is going to be a little bit different because it is natural stone, so it will vary in color, it will vary in shape, but I think it is absolutely stunning. So in addition to the kit, you will get this little apatite gift from me. And so that was my little announcement. Okay, and now we are just going to wrap up, and of course I'm going to remind you to please RSVP. Our videos are now scheduled as an event. All of our videos we are considering events, and we have a link in the comments, so if you go to the link, you can just right from the comments, you can go to the event section and let us know if you're coming to the next event. And of course, my next event is tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I already mentioned we will be using the same, we're going to be using lots of things, but among those are the pinch ends. And of course, I'm so glad you guys are excited about working with SilverSilk. I think it's so much fun. It lends itself to so many wonderful possibilities. So, yay! I'm glad you're excited. Thank you so much, everyone, for your wonderful comments and your wonderful questions. I love it when you ask questions because that, of course, helps everyone, because if one person is asking, that means everyone else is thinking it, and everyone who's going to be watching later is going to be thinking it. So thank you for that. And I believe we are done for today. What do you think? Okay, so again, thank you and have a wonderful and creative evening.